You being struck by the force of nature. Good morning, my peeps. Today we're in a little hike. We're on vacay and we're gonna go into a hiking trail. I'm gonna go back through it and we're gonna talk about what we can learn from trees in the forest when it comes to pruning. It's getting hot in here, so we started with a beanie. We put the headband back on, and we're gonna start with this guy right here. So there was a giant limb right here that just broke. You guys see the tear out right there. So what happened was that same thing is going on. We can see another example. If you guys follow this big whoa, follow this big lead right here, and then it goes straight up. Something similar was going on right here. So yeah, it broke. Weak attachment, a lot of weight. It's probably leaning a little bit. I think trees are opportunistic. They're gonna look for the best way to create food. So they're always gonna look for the light. They don't really care if they have a secondary top or not. So at some point they're gonna prune themselves, right? And that goes back to the principles of pruning back to 1/3 the diameter of the branch. We're only doing that because we want that wound to close. We want that wound to compartmentalize. But guess what? Trees don't care, man. Check this out. So you see this big break right here. Oh man, sorry, my camera is not the greatest, but there is a big break right here. There's some compartmentalization of decay happening. That stub, eventually it's gonna close up. Maybe some sprouting will happen, but for now it's not. There's no sprouting at all. Also, these dead branches at some point served as contributors to pulling energy and creating food for the tree. But for now, the tree started using this other longer branches to do that instead. So since there's no light there, of course things are gonna die. I just wanted to show you guys this for the long branches that break. That's one of the reasons why we do end weight, because we trying to prevent that. And if that happens in an urban environment, it could be catastrophic. Also, I just wanted to point out that you don't need to make a perfect textbook cut all the time. Sorry, I'm watching for hikers because it's getting late and people are starting to get out of their tents. It doesn't always have to be 1/3 the diameter. That's ideal. Trees don't really care. Make the best decision for what you have in front of you. All right, stay tuned. We're gonna watch some other stuff down the road. Now look at this biggin right here. You see this compression right here? The branch pulling the weight and then rebuilding. There's something happening here. Might have cracked, it might have broken some tissue, but look at this big giant reaction wood thing. So that's the muscle of the tree, keeping this big old branch upright. All right, we found our next tree right here. It's a good example. If you guys follow this canopy right here all the way to the top, it has very short branches. The lower ones are longer, which is typical for almost every tree. There's nothing in front of it, so you would expect to have even longer branches, but because of the wind, it's kind of preventing those branches to grow even longer. So if looking at it, it almost looks like a certified arborist, like your boy pruned it. So it looks really nice, really full. What happens sometimes is that there's a lot of breaks on trees that are like right next to the water where the wind is hitting it. I'm not saying that that's not going to be the case for this guy. Eventually it will happen, but for right now, all those branches are protecting the trunk of the tree. Once it becomes bigger, there might be too much where the tree's there's not going to be any buffer, and eventually it would break and fall apart. But I just wanted to show you guys an example on how the tree of the canopy of the tree is protecting the stem, is buffering the wind. Now different species similar scenario. Another thing too is that each species, we gotta treat it differently. Some trees are stronger than others. Some have more reaction with it. Others are able to compartmentalize faster. But I'm just gonna show you guys an example of when the tissue breaks, and it's right here. So this is a pretty decent sized alder. It's just leaning over there. Is this gonna break? Probably. I mean, it's gonna happen. But you guys see this? I don't know. It's kind of dark, but there's like a ridge right here where the tissue has broken. And then there's similar thing happened down there, right? Well, unfortunately, this tree didn't have anywhere else to go but this way. But right here, you know, when with this happened a while ago, the tree already closed that wound, and not only that, it created this ridge of wood, of tissue. So that's telling us that, hey, there's stress here. There's a lot of weight. This stem wants to break. So yeah, it ripped, but now we're gonna put more wood into that, right? So that happens when we go to the gym too, right, my peeps? What are you doing to your tissue? It's like putting stress on it so you can break that tissue down and then rebuild it. That's why buff dudes have bigger, you know, arms and shoulders, because they're just breaking the tissue over and over and over and over again. So that's one of the examples of when the tree's under stress and it's rebuilding that tissue to stay upright or to maintain that branch or whatever that instance might be. That being said, when we look at trees compared to other living things such as ourselves, there's certain similarities. I'm not gonna be the hippie guy that, oh, you know, trees this, like, they're just living organisms. We're barely getting to know what they really are, how they react to certain things. We do have the basics when it comes to pruning, reaction wood, and certain, like, we know that they collect energy from the sun. They create food and oxygen for themselves, and for other people they take carbon. So we know a little bit about trees, but there's still a lot to learn. You know, there's still a lot to learn. I would highly encourage you guys, if you live in an urban environment, to come out to the woods, take a look at some trees, look at why they broke, how they broke, kind of like the pattern on certain species, and take those mental notes and use them for the urban environment too. Of course, it's never going to be the same because we have structures, we have pedestrians. So also they don't have great soil, and their roots are not anchored the same as they are here in the woods. But we can take certain similarities and apply them to our pruning practices. But that being said, my peeps, no climbing today. Like I say, you boys on vacation. We came here to Western Washington to just camp for a few days, disconnect. It's been a rough couple weeks, starting YouTube and working for myself on the side, and working for somebody else 4 days a week. So I really needed this. I really needed a disconnect. But what I didn't want to disconnect is from you guys, especially those loyal subscribers, the ones that been with me since day one. You're the MVP. New subscribers that just discover this channel, thanks for supporting it. And if you made it to this section of the video, you might have a little something in common with your boy. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All we're doing in this channel is just, I'm an arborist, I'm certified arborist. So what we're doing is pruning urban trees. We're into conservation side of things. So we're mainly working to preserve large specimens. I do ornamental pruning on the side. I do some removals as well, but I don't think I will ever post anything like this in the channel, because my goal here is to really encourage people to preserve our urban canopy, to see trees for what they are, how much they contribute to this earth, to this giant ball of like dirt and rocks floating in space. So this is my goal for this channel. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, my peeps. Till next time, peace. Look at this view, the sun shining through the canopy of the trees.